What up, humans? Karumi here, and welcome to the Mobile Legends Bootcamp. In this video, we are going to talk about the marksman, Karrie. Karrie has a good set of area of effect, crowd control, buff burst, and dash skills. Our Lost Star, Karrie, is a marksman hero. I consider Karrie as a mobile marksman, since her second skill has a short cooldown to let her dash most of the time. Not only that, her passive skill's true damage could definitely melt down any enemy, even tanks. Now, let me share some tips and tricks on how to use Karrie based on my experience. I will also teach you some combos and techniques on the latter part of this bootcamp. But before that, let me explain her skills one by one for further understanding. Karrie's passive, Light Wheel Mark, lets Karrie add a light wheel mark to enemies hit by her basic attacks or skills. The light wheel mark stacks up to 5 times on a target. If the target obtains 5 stacks, the target will be pierced by the light wheel and will be receiving true damage. The true damage will depend on a percentage of the target's maximum health points. If the target is a creep, it will be receiving a damage no more than 300. Karrie's first skill, Spinning Light Wheel, lets Karrie releases flywheels that can deal physical damage to targets nearby. Upon using this skill, Karrie will release the flywheels toward the path. Enemies hit along the path will receive a certain amount of physical damage. On the end of the path, the flywheel will stay for a while. Enemies nearby will receive certain amount of physical damage, and will have their movement speed reduced continuously. Karrie's second skill, Phantom Step, lets Karrie move for the designated direction. Upon using this skill, Karrie will dash towards a specified direction within a short distance. While dashing, Karrie will release a light wheel to the most nearby enemy, and will deal a certain amount of physical damage. This light wheel will add a stack of light wheel mark to the enemy hit. When she enters her ultimate skill's dual wield mode, she will be releasing 2 light wheels instead of just 1. Karrie's ultimate skill, Speedy Light Wheel, lets Karrie enters dual wield mode. Upon using this skill, Karrie will enter dual wield mode. While in this mode, she will have her movement speed increased. Not only that, each of her basic attacks will release 2 light wheels instead of just 1. But each basic attack or light wheel deals reduced damage and her attack speed is reduced as well. The duration of this skill depends on the level of this skill. There are so many items that you can buy for Karrie. You can focus on items that grants physical damage, attack speed, and movement speed. For me, I choose to buy items that grants physical damage, additional true damage effects, attack speed, and effects that could abuse my passive skill's true damage further. I know most of you guys love buying critical chance items for marksman heroes just like us. So we also have the Crit Patrol if you guys are still into critical chance and damage. But for this bootcamp, we will focus on the Karumi way, which is the best build for us on this meta. As for starting item, you can consider buying Swift Boots. Swift Boots grants additional attack speed and movement speed. Having additional attack speed will make your attacks faster. This will let you deal lots of attacks, especially during team fights. Buying attack items, such as Endless Battle, can boost your damage effectively. This item gives you additional physical attack, health, mana regen, lifesteal, movement speed, and cooldown reduction. Its unique passive grants you additional true damage on your next basic attack after using a skill. Triggering the passive of this skill also grants you additional movement speed. With the cooldown reduction and its unique passive, Karrie will be more explosive with this, since her second skill could trigger the true damage effect. Buying attack items, such as Golden Staff, will give you additional physical attack and attack speed. Its unique passive disables you to increase your critical chance. But, for every 1% critical chance you gain, it will be converted to 1% attack speed instead. Golden Staff's another unique passive, Endless Strike, grants your basic attacks to add a stack of Endless Strike to the enemy receiving your attacks. After the enemy accumulates 2 stacks of Endless Strike, the effect of the next basic attack is triggered 3 times. This can abuse your passive skill even more, since the light wheel released by your basic attacks are multiplied by this item's passive. We will discuss on this furthermore later. In situations that there are burst physical heroes on the enemy team like Aldous, you might want to consider Wind of Nature. This item grants physical attack speed, and lifesteal. This item has an active skill. Upon casting this skill, you become immune to all physical damage for a few seconds. This is pretty helpful when going against one-on-one or in team fights as well, since you can be immune to physical damage for a short period, which will make you unstoppable on that certain time frame. You can consider buying Demon Hunter Sword. This item gives you physical attack and attack speed. Its unique passive will give a bonus effect on your basic attack. This bonus effect will deal a percentage of target's current health points as additional physical damage. Demon Hunter Sword's another unique passive grants a 4% lifesteal for 3 seconds on each basic attack, which lasts for 3 seconds. This effect stacks up to 5 times. Lastly, you might want to consider Bloodlust Axe. This item grants physical attack and cooldown reduction. Its unique passive grants 20% Spell Vamp. Spell Vamp regenerates health points from damage dealt by skills. We will further discuss on why we chose this item on the tips and trick section. The item build for Karrie really depends on the enemy's lineup, so make sure to read each item's description so you can adapt in-game.
Shut down!
One of the best spells to be used on Karrie is Purify. This will help you to be immune to crowd control skills for a short period. This will let you use your skills or basic attacks without the worry of being stunned. You can also consider Flicker. You can use it to escape danger, even death. I use Flicker a lot for marksman heroes, since marksman heroes must always keep their distance. You can also consider Aegis. This grants shield to your hero that can absorb a certain amount of damage. A percentage of the shield amount is also granted to the nearest ally with the lowest health. This can help your teammates survive team fights, especially roles like marksman and mage. In my opinion, the best emblem set to be used is the Custom Marksman Emblem set. Custom Marksman Emblem could provide extra stats according to your needs as a marksman. Set Bravery to its max level because it can give you extra physical attack. Higher physical attack will give you higher damage dealt to enemies. Setting Swift to max level will provide additional attack speed. Higher attack speed deals more number of physical attacks to enemies. Get Weakness Finder to have the chance to slow enemies. The effect will greatly reduce target's movement speed and attack speed. This effect has a short cooldown. For me, it's the best thing to get. Why? Because this can help you chase enemies when they are slowed, making it easier for you to deal barrage of attacks that could trigger lots of true damage. Set second skill to max level first. Prioritizing this makes the cooldown lower and the base damage higher. That means you can be mobile while easily stacking light wheel marks for true damage dealing. Prioritize first skill less since her second skill is what you need for melting down enemies. Always upgrade her ultimate skill when available for upgrading. Karrie's passive skill is what you need to melt down everyone, even tanks. Karrie is one of the best marksmen that could definitely melt down tanks. If you manage to stack 5 light wheel marks on a target, the light wheel will pierce the enemy with true damage. The damage depends on the maximum health points of the enemy. That means, the more health the enemy got, the higher the true damage the target will receive. So in short, tank heroes will definitely feel your wrath even more because they have high health points. For minions, creeps, the turtle, and the lord, this passive skill can only deal a maximum damage of 300. As we mentioned earlier, we recommended you to buy Golden Staff. Golden Staff's passive Endless Strike marks an enemy with a stack of Endless Strike every time your basic attack hits them. When the enemy has 2 stacks, your next basic attack effects to the same target will be triggered thrice. That means, when you deal 2 basic attacks, your target will have 2 Endless Strike and light wheel marks. Then on your third basic attack, you will trigger your basic attack effects 3 times because of the Golden Staff's passive. meaning 3 light wheel marks will be added to the enemy, and will automatically trigger the true damage bonus of your passive. When you are also buying Demon Hunter's Sword, its passive skill will also be triggered thrice. So definitely, the golden staff is what you need to melt down your enemies. Another pointer to take is that the true damage of this skill is considered as a skill damage. So, if you have Spell Vamp, you will definitely regenerate health from triggering the passive. Karrie's first skill is what you need to slow down enemies in team fights. With the ability to reduce their movement speed, enemies affected will definitely have difficulties to move around. Just imagine when you use your first skill during team fights. The enemies affected will have their escape or charge delayed because of this. As usual, we have our one and only lab rat, Rakuten, who is so happy to receive a Lightborn Granger skin for Christmas. We will demonstrate how slow you can be when being nearby Karrie's first skill. Just look on how slow he moves. If he tries on chasing you, it will definitely delay him because of the massive movement speed reduction. Also, take note that this skill adds a light wheel mark to your target on the initial damage. But the target will not receive a mark during the continuous damage. Karrie's second skill is what you need for mobility and triggering your passive skill faster. With the ability to dash towards a specified direction, you can easily chase enemies or escape death. Not only that, you can also dodge skills if you cast it at the perfect timing. This can also help you trigger the true damage from your passive skill faster, since every cast of this will shoot light wheels to the nearest target. That means you can still deal damage even while chasing enemies or escaping death. The dash can also make you pass through thin walls. I repeat, it can make you pass through thin walls only. Also, take note that the damage dealt by the light wheel launched by this skill deals a skill damage. Meaning, if you have Spell Vamp, you will regenerate health from this skill. Karrie's ultimate skill is what you need to trigger your passive skill faster. With the ability to shoot 2 basic attacks during this skill's duration, you can easily stack light wheel marks to deal true damage faster to enemies. Not only that, with the help of Golden Staff, the enemies will melt down faster than ever. Just take note that your damage and attack speed will be reduced when in dual wield mode. Also, while on dual wield mode, you can't trigger some of the basic attack effects on the extra attack. You can trigger lifesteal and spell vamp effects from the extra basic attack, but you cannot trigger effects such as Demon Hunter Sword's passive on the extra basic attack. It will only be triggered by your initial basic attack and not by the extra basic attack. But do take note that the extra basic attack can still deal critical hits. So it's really up to you on what item build you will buy for Karrie. Another fun fact, did you know that the extra basic attack from the dual wield mode is both basic attack and skill damage? Well, yes, the extra basic attack can regenerate health using life steal and spell vamp. Take a look on this scenario. We have spell vamp and lifesteal stats. Check out the health we regenerate from the extra basic attack. As you can see, the health we gained is higher compared to the initial basic attack. It is because the health regenerated has the lifesteal and spell vamp combined. In terms of her combo, we usually follow a simple combo for Karrie. It's not really a combo, but this is the way we use her on team fights. First, we use her first skill to slow down enemies in team fights. This way, enemies will have difficulties on moving, delaying their escape or charge. Then, we activate her ultimate skill. We will now be entering dual wield mode. Then, we either deal basic attack or use her second skill depending on the situation. Then, just continue either dealing basic attacks or using her second skill to melt down enemies, even the tank heroes on the enemy side. Just make sure to remember that you also have your spell with you to use anytime within this combo. If you have Purify, then use it when you get controlled by the target. Additional tip. We recommended Bloodlust Axe because it has Spell Vamp. Spell Vamp works on the true damage dealt by your passive. It also works on your first and second skill's damage, and your extra basic attack during your ultimate skill's duration. Just imagine that every time you do something in team fights, you can regenerate almost every damage you deal to the enemies. So we recommended this to help Karrie sustain further in team fights. Another tip, Karrie is one of the unique marksmen since she can deal true damage from her passive. If you are going one-on-one with a fellow marksman, you both might think of buying Wind of Nature. But Wind of Nature will just block physical damage and not true damage. In short, your passive skill will still pierce the target even when using Wind of Nature.
You have slain an enemy. Wiped out.
The tips I mentioned are just some of the ways you can use Karrie. This video just guides you on how to use Karrie the Kurumi way. We would like to thank our one and only lab rat, Rakuten, for showing off his Granger skin on this bootcamp. Do not forget to follow his account, and tell him how thankful we are for sacrificing his pride and honor. Thank you, Rakuten. So, once again, this is Kurumi and that's how you use Karrie. Thanks for watching. Do not forget to like and share this video. Also subscribe to my channel for more contents by clicking on the subscribe button below. We have our Ko-fi account just in case you want to donate us some coffee funds. Check our Ko-fi link on the description of this video. For our skin giveaway events, check out our community tab in YouTube for the mechanics. See you on the next Mobile Legends Bootcamp. Cheers!